I just watched an interview on Al-jazeera with Uruguayan President Jose Mojica. I'd like to share a few of the man's words with you here. When asked by the interviewer how he feels about being described recently as the world's poorest president, he responds, quote, "No, poor are the ones who describe me so. My definition of poor are those who need too much. Because those who need too much are never satisfied. I am frugal, not poor. Frugal, with a light suitcase. I live with little, just what's necessary, not too tied down to material things. Why? So I can have more free time. To do what? What I like. Freedom is having time to live. Living frugally is a philosophy of life, but I am not poor." End quote. There's something I find really endearing about this old fella. Apparently he gives 90% of his salary to charity. This guy made a speech fairly recently at the United Nations General Assembly denouncing excess and frivolity. Now, if you haven't heard, President Mujica has moved to promote a law passed in Uruguay's lower house of Congress, which is expected to pass in the country's Senate. This law would license and enforce rules for the production, distribution and sale of marijuana. As is my understanding, smoking marijuana is already legal in Uruguay. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but buying, selling or growing marijuana is illegal and you can go to prison. But anyway, this legal marijuana is expected to go on sale from sometime next year. So what's the thinking behind this law? Why did you decide to promote that legislation? The interviewer asks the president, referring to this new marijuana law. Jose Mojica says, quote, "It's an experiment in combating drug trafficking. All the police measures that we've undertaken in the last 100 years against drug trafficking have multiplied crime. Drugs have spread and violence has overrun society." And the interviewer says, "Especially in Latin America," to which the president responds, "Yes. We want to try to take a clandestine business and bring it out into the open. But it's not about letting everyone consume and buy what they want. No. It's about regulating. will offer a personal dose in pharmacies where medicine is sold, a monthly amount to those who register. If a person wants more, will know that he or she needs treatment and will treat it as a health problem. But first we have to identify and take the person out of that clandestine world." End quote. He goes on to say some interesting things. I'm not in agreement with everything he says, but this is clearly a new approach, isn't it? Yeah. This guy was in prison for many years, Jose Mojica. He seems like quite a character. He's an atheist, but he says he respects the Catholic Church. I was quite surprised to learn that gay marriage and abortion were legal in Uruguay. Quite surprised. Go and watch the interview, folks. It's on the show Talk to Al-Jazeera. The title, Jose Mojica, I earn more than I need. That's the title. When asked towards the end of this interview, why do you think the United States has been spying not just on foes but also on its allies? President Mujica says, quote, "Because it is afraid, very afraid, because it has played the role of a policeman and it has made many enemies in its history. And he who has many enemies naturally is very afraid." End quote. And he goes on to say other stuff, some of which made me smile and laugh a bit. I'm sure I would not agree with all of his politics or all of his philosophy, but he seems like a very likeable, down-to-earth, honest man. Yeah. And I certainly can't say that for every modern political leader. Anyway, see you later, folks. Peace.